Okay, hi. It's Thursday evening, 9:09 p.m. A little bit short on time, energy, and everything. So I scratched out this thing for my ideas for the COMMEX. So again, this will get me my master mems and everybody on there. If they don't have their basic or senior, they should be able to get theirs from what they see and experience. So anyway, so it's a COMMEX. So we're gonna ideally run two separate pods, just notional. It's a tabletop, really. It's a tabletop with radio communications. So two different pods, two different shelters, a warehouse with trucks. We have there's a state emergency, a hurricane. So we have a minor role for a state to county interface by high frequency radio, as prompted by CAN. That we should have high frequency for this. So this is the one link where we do. And then the county really runs. Well, there's county. County talks to the CP. The CP on one net talks to pods 1 and 2 on one net. On a separate net, it talks to shelters 1 and 2. And on one net, it talks to the warehouse. The warehouse has two nets. It talks to the CP, and it talks to two drivers that have a choice of 4 trucks and a van. And then, so we have an OC at the county. So we have a MESL. We have a master scenario events list that basically has set injects that get into the system, and we observe how they react. For example, a truck driving down the road at a certain time, whatever truck's on the road, let's say, gets a flat tire, can't move. So what are they going to do? Are they going to call for a tow truck somewhere? Are they going to call for just one of the other trucks to come, cross-load the material, and then take off? Or are they going to change the tire? Like, what do they plan to do? There's really no wrong answer as long as they come up with something. Okay, so anyway, so there's injects on that. For the shelter, okay, and we're going to tell them the capacity is X number of people. Let's say we say each shelter, this one shelter has 50, let's say, and this has a shelter of 35. Well, if all of a sudden they get their 60th person here, they're going to say, "Hey, whoa, we're maxed out. We need a truck, let's say, to take these people over to this place." Or actually, they tell the CP. The CP knows how many's in each, so they'll say, "Okay, not a problem. Have a warehouse. Send the truck to shelter one. Transport those people over to shelter." Those type of managerial things. We're not asking for any technicalities about how to run a shelter. It's just situations that they should be able to handle. So anyway, there's an OC at the county, 2 OCs at the CP with all these different nets and injects and stuff like that. It's going to take 2 OCs to observe what's going on. Both pods can be basically in the same area, but they just can't hear each other discussing things. And there's an OC there that's going to watch both of them and take notes and give the MESL injects at the right time. Same thing for the shelter. The shelters can be in the same general area. They just can't hear each other, mumble back and forth. They can hear each other on the radio, but not as they discuss things. And there's going to be an OC there giving MESL injects into their situation. The warehouse has an OC, and the vehicles, they have an OC. I have a master map. Well, a map that everybody's going to be off of. So there's going to be, I'll get into that later. In terms of so in one way, we could do this in an outside park with picnic benches and bathrooms. and have everybody on picnic tables, or we could have them in a park under canopies, or we could be in a church basement, let's say. That's less ideal. Get a school for the day. I don't know, but so on the other sheet. So and hopefully we can scrounge up volunteer actors, because on the measle, it might be that a bunch of a crowd went to the CP saying, "What's going on? When am I going to get my electricity back? How's my roof going to fix?" That's where the PIO comes. It gives the PIO something to do. Okay, the police shows up. "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" And then we've been all over this town, and we finally found some kind of support. That's the CP can ask them, what do they know about what's going on, and they can shed light about where damage is, because that damage is going to be on the map that only the OCs can see. And then as the trucks go there, the trucks will either be stopped because of the damage, and if so, they should report it back. And the OC and everybody should put it on their maps as, okay, there's trees down here, the road's blocked. And then they have to find their way around that obstacle to get wherever they're going. So we'll have a refreshment site, a staging area and that's another MEMS thing, a staging area, right? For the volunteer actors, and have an OC there. That way, at the appropriate time, they can get the actors dressed up as best they can. Give them a badge and a whistle, and they're the police. Give them a coil of wire and say, "I'm the county lineman. I'm here to fix electricity." "Oh yeah, well we got lines down at First and Market Street. Why don't you go there?" So yeah, we have dress them up as best we can. Hard hat, pair of pliers. Okay, so now in terms, so you can see the number of. Well, here. Then on this site here, so we got the CP site, we have the 2 shelter sites, the 2 pod sites, the warehouse site, the refreshment table, the truck area, the county site. So for the county site, they need a ham radio set up, and okay, here's the no, for the CP. The CP needs a ham radio to talk to county, a CB as backup. I have that. I have a ham radio too, but 3 tables, 9 chairs, 2 whiteboards, let's say, the map I just talked about, and various, so 1 family radio for the pods net, 1 for the shelter net, 1 for the warehouse net. Then for the 2 shelters combined, 4 tables, 6 chairs, 2 whiteboards, 2 radios, 1 for each. For the pods, same thing. 4 tables, 6 chairs, 2 radios. They also get a pods manual and pods pieces. I'm going to give them a picture of the overhead view of a high school or wherever the pods is going to be, and using the geometry of that high school parking lot, they can arrange the pod pieces to make a pods setup. And then as part of the AAR, they can brief us on why they did what they did. For the warehouse, 2 tables, 4 chairs, the map, 2 radios. Again, they have the net to the CP and the net to the trucks. And they'll have their inventory list. And and maybe a laptop. The inventory list is a long Excel sheet. And so the Excel sheet has the starting values for lots of stuff. So if the shelter says, "Hey, we need more blankets," and so they say, "Okay, we need 20 more blankets," then the CP tells the warehouse, hey, get 20 blankets to shelter such and such, then they deduct that 20 blankets from their starting value so they can give the total. And then the trucks go along the way to get the blankets to the shelter, and those trucks may encounter an obstacle that they need to do something about. Okay, so then trucks, okay. So the trucks have their table, 4 chairs, a map, radios. I don't know. First, I had 4 people, 1 for each truck, but then they're not going to have that much trouble, people. So I figured, okay, 4 vehicles, but only maybe 2 people. That way, if one truck gets destroyed or crushed, the same person can just jump in another truck and play with it. Then the county, the ham radio to talk to the CP, the CB as a backup, 2 tables, and a whiteboard. Okay. So the scheme of maneuver is we go wherever they go. We give everybody a welcome briefing. We orient them to the site. We give them an exercise level safety briefing. Following that, that's all the administrative tasks. Then we isolate the CP leader and their key staff, let's say, and give basically the scenario to them, while other people are just reviewing pods procedures, maybe setting up the antennas, because that'll take a while. So then once that's done and the CP has done its planning, and again during the planning sessions we'll be observing them and taking notes for the AAR and for everybody's practicum. Following that, those key leaders have to bring in all their staff, all their minions from the shelter, the warehouse, the truck, all these places, and regurgitate what we told them. Because in reality, when the county briefs the people, not everybody's going to be there, right? So they need to practice relaying what we tell them and giving it to the minions, and then coming up with a plan. And getting task organized. And maybe they'll do it in advance if somebody tells them what we got to do. But nonetheless, they should know we got pods, shelter, warehouse, truck. All right, so following that, then they go to their respective areas, and wherever they are, they do a commo check, but at that time, it should really just be the family radios. Actually, we can check them ahead of time and then give them to them. But nonetheless, good practice from wherever they go, do a commo check. At that point in time, they've had all these things going on. Just give them a little break to get refreshments, which I'll take care of, right? Then once their refreshments, and even during their little break, they can talk about different things. Once that ends, they go back to their rooms, and it is start X. Things start happening. So first one is they've already deployed to their sites, let's say. Okay. They notionally deployed to their site, so I guess they could report in. It's okay. We're here. I guess we can say the pods people should know how many people they should have on site. So let's say okay, this is pods 1. I got 15 people here, and pods 2 can say I got 17 people. Whatever, right? Shelter, I don't know, 10 people each. I don't know. So after that, then I guess we'll say that the warehouse will immediately kick out their pods kit to them. So at that point in time, the pods people, they recon the area and tell the state of it. Now the OCs will say, on this one you got trees all over the place. On this one you got vehicles that are overturned. So perhaps they'll say, okay, let's get some chainsaws and a truck. We'll chop up things and safety gear for chainsaws. And we'll just get rid of these trees, drag them off. and then for the cars upside, maybe they'll try to get a local car. I don't know. They'll ask for a tow company, maybe the CP can't handle it, and maybe they'll just get chains from the warehouse and drag it off with one of the trucks. You never know, just what they come up with. But in the end, they're going to clear the area, and the OC is going to give them their little pods kits so they can start setting up the pieces. And then same thing with shelters. They got to get there, recon the area, and one should be a school cafeteria, and so the OC will probably say, well, there's broken windows. Some of the windows are broken, so there's glass inside. So they'll say, okay, we got to clean the glass. Another one, I forget what it is, but you get the idea. There's all kinds of things going on. So it's a lot of people, but I think it's manageable and it's scalable. If not everybody shows up, we can chop off a pod. We can chop off a shelter. We can, whatever. So it's scale. If this is the ideal, then we can always scale it back. But I think this is manageable. In advance, I can release other training videos like how to read the map. I cannot believe I gave a kindergarten level video on how to read the maps that everybody gets, and I could not believe the confusion. So I hope our people are smarter than they were the last time. Okay, so what do you say? Can we do it? Can we find a place? Woods? Canopy? All right, that's it. Thank you.